Tales from the Dark Side, Episode 3 of Season 3, The Bitterest Pill, written once again by Jewel Selbo, who wrote the last episode. This time she has some help with Michael Cube McDowell, not Michael McDowell, but Michael Cube McDowell, maybe his secret alter ego. And if I remember my last review, I noted something about how Jewel Selbo always starts her episodes. Let me see if I can find that. One, just like all our other episodes, really stands out. I mean, you know a Jewel Selbo episode when you see one. Starts with a family. They're a bit loud, though not as loud as they were in Grandma's Last Wish. And they're always in a state of busyness and throwing out references so you can, relate to it. A mom will be like, "Oh, Timmy, did you forget to pick up Bob from school today?" And he goes, "No, I didn't. Actually, did you remember to get the car waxed?" "No, I didn't remember to get the car waxed. Do you remember to vacuum the downstairs?" "Hey, did you remember to pet the dog?" Interesting point by me. So how does this episode start? Well, how do you think?
Hoosier, Hoosier, and there's the pass right back. Yes, sirree, folks. 10 seconds left. Bender, Bender, Bender.
Get the garbage.
Goes to shoot. Bender. 3 seconds. Goes to shoot. He's up. He's up. Bender.
Don't play ball in the house, Jonathan.
And he lets it go.
But whenever Jewel Selbo has help, that she's not the complete writer of the episode, either she's doing an adaptation or as a co-writer, she can't be her full self. So those episodes tend to be a little better. When it's full Jewel Selbo, oh boy. So it starts right away after they get done their obligatory Jewel Selbo chores of taking out the laundry and playing basketball. This family wins the lottery. So this might make you think, wow, we're going to see them become very, very rich and see all the trials and tribulations that come from that, right? Well, no. That's how the episode starts. They win the lottery. They win $10 million. They have a upgraded house. I mean, looks pretty much the same as the house they had before, but it's a little nicer. This is Tales from the Dark Side, so no mega mansions. But what's odd is nothing really changes. I don't know if they're trying to do a comment on they win $10 million, but they're still a family. They're still kind of annoying each other. They just have nicer clothes. And now they're running into a lot of people that are trying to sell them things. But maybe because of the budget of this episode, they can't really pull off them doing like a blank check type scenario where he's driving around a Ferrari with a bunch of hot chicks and gambling at the casino. And so it just kind of looks like they have slightly better clothes and a nicer TV. Their lifestyle has not been upgraded that much, and their personalities have not been upgraded that much. So it's kind of a false start. They win the lottery, but it doesn't matter. They could just taken that part out. It doesn't matter if they win the lottery. And then we get a very annoying character by the name of Tinker, who's a quote-unquote scientist, a street pharmacist, some might say, who's down on his luck, broke, and also mentions that he kind of has a thing for the wife.
Heard about you winning all that money?
You thought you could take some of it away from me, like you tried to take Marjorie away from me.
I thought we put that to bed.
I can give you the world, Harlan. You'll trust me. Can own the world. The ability to remember everything. You can win every quiz show on television. My head aches. Everything you ever read, ever saw, ever heard, ever overheard. These capsules will unlock all that information, and then we can rule the world, Harlan.
So this character Tinker is bouncing off the walls, making unfunny Jewel Selbo jokes, cackling like a crow, throwing his hands in the air. This is supposed to pass off as comedy. And he has this pill that he says will make you remember everything. And he just wants $1 million for it, and then he changes the price to $500,000. Now, they already won the lottery, so why exactly they would want a pill that supposedly makes them richer, since he says they can memorize all the stocks and be able to go on quiz shows and win every single time. But they already have tons of money, so why would they really need this pill? This episode makes less sense as it goes on. It's like they didn't really think this through. They already have money. He's then giving them a pill that he says they can use to make more money. But they already have money. He's a terrible salesman and eventually gets pulled out. Character Tinker is very annoying. He's played by Mark Blankfield, who was in the 82 Jekyll and Hyde movie and did some comedy bits in Robin Hood Men in Tights and Dracula Dead and Loving It. But he is just not utilized here. I've noticed this with all Jewel Selbo's episodes. Even if they have talented actors that have the ability to be funny, the script is just not there. I mean, how do you be funny where you cackle like a crow and start doing the rubber chicken? Maybe there's something like Jim Carrey could have pulled off in his prime, but you, sir, know Jim Carrey. So he gets dragged out, and we get the amazingly shock twist ending, where the little kid, Jonathan Bender, ends up taking the pill, and he becomes super smart, because now he can remember everything. And they end it with him kind of taking control of his parents. This is a god-awful episode. Wow. Jules Selbo outdoing herself. I mean, I'm tempted to give it a 1, but I guess I'm going to reserve 1 for the worst of the worst of the worst. I'll give it a slight 2. There's basically nothing good to say about this episode. I'll read some reviews after this to be a little more fair for some people that liked it, but the comedy is just terrible. I've showed clips of the comedy. You can make up your own mind with that. But it's just also just a terrible idea. They win the lottery. They then get a super annoying guy who tries to sell them a pill that'll make them remember stuff and win more money, but they already have money. He gets dragged out and the kid takes the pill, and now the parents are subjugated by the kid. Puts the show Tales from the Dark Side in a bad light. I mean, if you were just happened to stumble upon this late night on TV, you would probably write off the rest of the show. You know, I've noticed I've been a little hard on Jules Selbo, so I'll give her a plug. Apparently she's a novelist now. So remember, even if you don't have that much talent, never give up on your dreams. Because she ended up working for Disney later in her career, doing some co-writing, and now she's actually writing books. 7 days, a D. Rommel mystery. 10 days, screenplay, ignore that one. And yeah, she just keeps plugging along. And is still doing it to this day. She must be in her, late 60s at this point? So, good job, Jules Selbo. Okay, so let's look at some reviews for The Bitterest Pill. 5 out of 10, knowledge is power. This TFTDS, it's short for Tales from the Dark Side. I never like that. It's just shortness, that's why I never use it, but episode shows just how out of touch with the hard, cold realities of life most people like the Benders are when they come into a big windfall and end up blowing it before they could spend a dime of it. Seems like they still have money left. They just aren't happy. Maybe it's like money doesn't buy happiness. It was young Jonathan who, by gulping down the smart pills, that ended up on Easy Street for the rest of his life, and they both ended up straight down the dumps, a fate which they, and only they, made for themselves. Okay. I think they just had to end it some way, and someone had to finally take the pill since it was like 20 minutes in. I'm like, okay, is anyone gonna take these pills? And they go, yeah, the little kid does. Of course, season 3 was turning out pretty decent, but of course it wouldn't take long for them to introduce a completely stupid episode. You still give it 5 out of 10 though. I mean, it's alright, but it's once again just the wrong tone for the series. It feels more like a sitcom, a bad sitcom. There were some good sitcoms in the 80s. Really bad at overacting. No kidding, 1 out of 10. This cruddy episode of Tales from the Dark Side TV series is apparently based on a story by acclaimed sci-fi writer Frederick Fogg. Not that you'd ever know, because it's a complete mess in terms of execution and narrative style. It does seem like they almost put like 2 episodes together. It's like the first where they win the lottery ticket, and the second that has this annoying guy in, and then they throw in the pill thing. Maybe 3. The plot is about a crazy inventor who makes pills that turn people into geniuses, and the couple who win the lottery and end up falling in with him. You guessed it, this is one of the dumb comedy episodes of the show, and everything about it is over the top. That's Jules Selbo. All the dialogue has to be shouted at full volume by a cast of very bad actors. Yep, I actually had to turn the volume down every time he appeared. I did as well, and including in my review, I turned the volume down. After a rather strong start to the 3rd season, Tales from the Dark Side was bound to lose some momentum. Well, it always does. Despite winning a $10 million jackpot, that's $10 million in the 80s, on the lottery, the Bender family decided to stay in their little semi-detached 2-story house. Yeah, right. Yeah, they show a shot of the house. It does look like the same house, but they make it look nicer inside. So, I don't know why they just didn't show a shot of a mega mansion. I mean, they could have freaking used stock footage and just pretended they were in a mega mansion. I am not being funny, but who, after winning $10 million, would stay in their small old house? They upgraded it. They painted the walls. Also, with that much money, you could just about go anywhere and just about do anything. So the whole thing quickly loses credibility for me and never regains it. I'm glad this guy was annoyed by this as much as I was. The acting isn't great, and that loony scientist guy, Winston, is really annoying. Yep. So next up is a good episode, Florence Bravo, written by Edith Swenson again. You know, I said before she's kind of all over the place, but recently her episodes have been quite good. And this one has more of a film noir vibe to it, and looks and feels unlike any episode we've seen before. We'll be reviewing that one next week. Check out our playlist for all episodes of Monsters, Fear Itself, Black Mirror, Pet Shop of Horrors and Tales from the Dark Side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're thrilled. I'm first interested in why you went from writing in Hollywood to living in Maine and writing novels instead of doing screenplays and film.
I think as a little tiny kid, I was one of those kids who was always writing, and I was writing these little tiny novels that I would put in these cans and illustrate them and give them away for birthday